I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good evening, everyone, and your honorable judges. I will be the speaker of the closing government. First off, before I start with my reinforcement of my team's argument, I want to give out and I want to read the motion first. The motion stated that this house would impoverish the corrupted. That would impoverish corruptors. Moving on to my review, is that the first off, the opposition team stated that the corruptors, if they're not if this motion stands, that it would become a burden for our country. But let me yet again ask another question of this: what is the ratio of corruptors and the non-corruptor of our people? It is the ratio is very little and it's not comparable. It is even comprehensible. And with that stated, so it would not become a burden. It would not become a burden. Because why? Corruptor, in an essence of a corruptor itself, they are people that betrays the people's trust, right? So so what my government team stated that their burden is actually correct, because rather than being a burden as a person itself, they're also being a burden financially, right? So imagine if they are stealing the people's money and yet letting go with it without any form of consequences and or punishment. And so that's why this motion should stand. And then the second thing that I want to rebuke, it is also a reinforcement of my team's case, is that my team also stated that the other opposition team said that if this motion stands, that other people and or other corruptors would try their best to hide their corruption and stuff, right? But for us, that sounded invalid. It sounded invalid because, of course, every corruptor, whether it is a small one, a big one, a huge one, or even a massive one, right? They would also try their best to hide it. And so, therefore, why did the opposition think that even though if this motion stand or not, those kind of things are common sense. Of course, they're going to try to hide it, right? If it is small, if it is big, so making their argument very invalid and yet not really comprehensible as an argument. And then moving on to some of the statement that I want to reinforce is that my team stated that the country and or state has the right to control their laws, right? So let me bring this back. What are laws meant to be? Laws are meant to control the people, are meant to control the population. I wouldn't say it as enforcing, but what our team is trying to say, that laws makes peace, make us to be a human being, make our country a safer place, right? Make us to be, how do I say this? It makes us control. That's what the government is trying to do and trying to achieve with this motion. Because this motion, right, stated that this house would impoverish the corrupted, and the opposition team had stated that it is not very human. It's not very. It violates the human right? But let's think about it again. What is even human right if they themselves betray their own country rights? Let me rephrase this. They are the people that we as rakyat believe in, right? We believe in them. We trust our money, we trust our funds, our country's funds, and blah blah blah. But yet they betrayed us, right? They betrayed our human right. They betrayed our trust, and yet the opposition team stated that they should just they're being in jail or they're being in. Here is much more reasonable or much more this than actually taking back the money that they stole, and even the plus bonus of them. So what my team is trying to say with this argument is that corruption is really bad, and the country has to control them, right? This is the main point of every country that they should have. That should have been known. Every country has their own ways to control their corruption and blah blah blah. As in China, as in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has it much worse than our motion do. The Saudi Arabian actually cut off the hands of corruptors. And I mean, seeing them and then seeing us, I think you will see the difference that we are not being evil, we are not being cruel. The government is not trying to control us or 100% control. No, we are in summary, we are trying to redistributed those funds. We are trying to make it justified that even though they did something really bad, we still don't want to cut off their hands, we don't want to kill them, because of course we also respected human rights. Do you think we make this law without any reconsideration? Because of course we consider it, right? We as the government, we do not think of an individual person. We don't think about a single person need, or as in the opposition team stated, that they care. They also try to care about the human rights of the corruptor, even though they're bad. But they also want to respect their human rights. But let me tell you this: a corruptor betrayed the people trust. As in, this is not an individual problem anymore. This is a whole white nation problem, right? So why do we need to emphasize? Why do we need to sympathize with this person? I mean, of course, we should sympathize as a human being, and that's why we are giving this much of a punishment rather than killing them and or chopping their hands off. And so, moving on to what my Alexine stated that she herself doesn't have time to finish, is that she stated about a double punishment, right? So, a double punishment is, I'm going to redefine this. Double punishment meaning, as in, if a corruptor does a really huge corruption, he or she will pay the amount back and plus, and then they will be sent to prison. And of course, the cancel culture. Oh my God, you guys must heard of cancel culture. Cancel culture. That is the most destructive thing that we isn't as in Gen Z or millennial generation has ever seen, right? And so that's why this one single person can be the deterrent. Those kind of punishment can be the deterrent, because if a single corruption can destroy a person's life, other people, right? Other people will think twice, no, 3 times, 4 times, even 5 times to think about corruption. Because if you did one, it will destroy your life. It become a deterrent. We needed that. And that is why we as the closing government should think that the motion should stand. That's all for me.